So I was scrolling through some articles and I found one I kind of liked. It's entitled How Genetic Variation Gives Rise to Differences in Mathematical Ability. This one is on neurosciencenews.com, and I just want to read you guys the summary here. Genetic variants of ROBO1 in young children are associated with gray matter volume in the right parietal cortex. This in turn predicts mathematical tests scored by second grade. DNA variation in a gene called ROBO1 is associated with early anatomical differences in a brain region that plays a key role in quantity representation, potentially explaining how genetic variability might shape mathematical performance in children, according to a study published October 22nd in the open access journal PLOS Biology by, I'm going to slaughter this name, but I'm going to say it anyways, Michael Skeid. It's spelled Skeide. I probably just totally slaughtered that, but whatever. Of the Max Planck Institute for Human Cognitive and Brain Sciences in colleges. So I clicked on the source, PLOS, and it looks like it's a nonprofit organization and a bunch of scientists just post stuff on there and they all kind of join together and do research together. And then I clicked on the original link and there really wasn't much to it. I wish they would have been more in depth because this seems like something that's kind of interesting and would be nice to know more about this specific gene. The gene is called ROBO1, and it's actually in the right hemisphere, I think is what it said. It said with gray matter volume in the right parietal cortex. So generally when people talk about this stuff, it's the left versus right brain, the two different hemispheres that are connected by the corpus callosum. And with the left brain, it's more logical, focused on facts, planned and orderly, more mathematical and scientific minded, prefers nonfiction. Then your right side of your brain would be emotional, focused on art and creativity, imaginative, and it prefers fiction, it enjoys creative storytelling. So this is kind of similar to this other article I was reading a while ago, and I pulled it up, and I just want to read two different paragraphs that I thought was kind of interesting. Now, this article is from psychologytoday.com. It's entitled, No, You're Not Left Brain or Right Brain, because there's always this weird right versus left. And that's when you get into the split brain kind of scenarios with Michael Gazzaniga and then Roger Sperry. Roger Sperry is a pretty famous guy. You'll come across him a lot when it comes to right-left hemisphere. But I'm going to read you some paragraphs. So start quote, visual spatial abilities localized to the right cerebral hemisphere are skills that are absolutely critical for left brain talents like science or engineering. The ability to interpret algebraic equations in terms of genetic curves is a specialty of the right brain, end quote. And then here's the other paragraph I wanted to read. Start quote, if ever there were a left brain and a right brain person, it would be the two personalities cohabitating the skull of a split brain patient. For the rest of us, these labels are as fiction as Harry Potter. So in this article, they're essentially arguing that both the brains are equal for everyone. So there is no one that's left brain dominant and there is no one that's right brain dominant. So generally, when it's left brain versus right brain, it's split brain, like I said. And then I would also argue that people who have a special interest in science, those savants, people that have that kind of ability, those are kind of people that, a savant really is left brain dominant. If they're mathematical savant, there's different types of savant. There's some that's a musical savant that are autistic and have superpowers essentially when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to leave you guys on that note. Check out Roger Sperry. I think this is all interesting stuff. I kind of like reading about the different genes and things of that nature that affect mathematical skills or, musical type brains. And I thought this was pretty interesting with a DNA variation in a gene called ROB01, which led that group of students to be better at mathematics. Now, I tried to look into it and I just couldn't find any good, more info on it. But I'll catch you guys on my next segment. Please like and subscribe.